The Legend of the Two Lovers. Long ago, in the time when Spain ruled Guam, there was a proud family living in Higatnia, the capital city. The father was a wealthy Spanish aristocrat, and the mother was the daughter of a great Chamorro chief. The family owned land, and they were held in high esteem by all, Chamorro and Spanish alike. Their daughter was a beautiful girl, admired by all for her honesty, modesty, and perfectly natural charm. Her beauty bestowed the greatest pride and dignity unto her family. One day, the girl's father arranged for her to take a powerful Spanish captain as her husband. When the girl discovered this, she was so distraught that she ran from Higatnia all the way to the north of Guam until she found a secluded and peaceful shore. There, on the moonlit shore, she met and fell in love with a young warrior from a very modest Chamorro family. He was gentle with a strong build, and had eyes that searched for meaning in the stars. When the girl's father learned of the two lovers, he grew angry and demanded that she marry the Spanish captain at once. That day at sundown, she stole away to the same high point along the shore, and once again met her Chamorro lover. Her father, along with the captain and all the Spanish soldiers, pursued the lovers up to the high cliff above Tumon Bay. The lovers found themselves trapped between the edge of the cliff and the approaching soldiers. All the young warrior could do was to warn them to stay back, and the father ordered the soldiers to halt. The lovers tied their long black hair into a single knot. Acting as if they were entirely alone, they looked deeply into each other's eyes and kissed for the final time. Then they leaped over the long, deep cliff into the roaring waters below. The girl's father and all who remained rushed to the edge to stare in great anguish. Since that day, Chamorros have looked to the jutting peak above Tumon Bay with reverence. The two lovers remain a symbol of true love, a love in which two souls are entwined forever in life and in death. Thereafter, the high point on the cliff was known as Punta dos Amantes, or Two Lovers' Point. Two Lovers Story, Part 2, circa 2015. When 170-mile-per-hour winds raged across Guam in 2002, Typhoon Pongsona twisted and knocked the two lover statue to the ground. Believing the damage was too great to repair the brass lovers, it was sold as scrap, leaving Two Lovers Point empty of its namesake. 11 years later, when David Barnhouse courted Nancy in the spring of 2013, he took her to Two Lovers Point. Sitting on the edge of the cliff, where the original lovers jumped to their death rather than be parted, David told Nancy the original legend and the story of Typhoon Pongsona, adding that the locals believed the statue was never destroyed, that it still lay bent and broken in a scrapyard, more than a decade later. That day, David vowed that if the statue still existed, he would buy the two lovers, have them repaired, and bring the statue back to Two Lovers Point as a symbol of their love. When Nancy moved to Guam and married David later that year, she began searching for the statue like a mother looking for her lost child. 2 years passed, and she still hadn't found the brass lovers. Then, one day, when she'd almost given up her hope, Nancy Barnhouse met Moses Chong, owner of Green Guam Corporation. Nancy asked Moses if he had ever heard of the two lovers statue, and if he knew what had become of it. Moses told her that he had purchased the statue for scrap, but he had never had the heart to melt down the beautiful piece of artwork. It still lay on top of a container at his scrapyard, more than a decade later. That day, Island Asserts Corporation bought the statue. With the help of the staff of David's son's company, Guam Crane Services, Moses strapped the lovers on his boom truck and transported it to a shop in Harmon, where workers spent weeks trying to unbend the legs and release the brass from the rusted, twisted foundation of steel. Seeing that the job required a journeyman welder, David and Nancy hired welding fabricator Armand Nazaretta, who spent months tediously preparing the rusted pipe from the brass, unbending and reshaping the sculpture, building a new steel interior foundation, and shining it to its original hue. On October 15, 2015, the second wedding anniversary of the two modern lovers, David and Nancy Barnhouse, and the staff of ICC loaded the statue onto a boom truck and returned the two lovers to Two Lovers Point with this blessing. May the two lovers statue be a reminder that eternal love is possible when two mortals fall in love.